Welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today, so tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, I have the special and none other, the best photographer in Sea of Thieves, none other than Captain Ballzonia. Now, Jimmy is a good friend of mine. He has been following Sea of Thieves forever, and he always has a really good time when he's out with friends. He always tries to be very accommodating to everyone, but he's very notorious for disappearing when things tend to happen. So I wanted to dive into an interview with him to kind of show off some of the things that I think a lot of the people in the community appreciate about him, and that is his photography. So we dive a lot into what it's like to kind of build shots, how to do it, and mostly because we are going into these next few weeks with these golden sale contests. I don't know why I messed that up. It seems like such an easy thing to not mess up. We're getting these golden hour contests where people can have themes and you take an unedited photo to post it. We talk about that more in the actual interview, but I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. He's a good dude, and I really just wanted to bring him on because of all the people who supported me. He's always been very upfront and supportive of all the things that I do with the podcast. He's been listening since day one. He's been playing since day one, and all around just a great pirate. So sit back, relax, enjoy this interview. You're going to hear some meows. Those are not his cat Yoshi. They're not my cats either. I had to bleep out a couple things because he knows I like to keep this kid friendly, but he just likes throwing out the words from time to time. So if you hear that, that's kind of what that is. Don't fret. It's not like us doing something to a cat or anything. We would never do that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you all after the interview. Welcome to the show, Balls. I know that you've been listening forever, and I appreciate that a lot. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. Define forever. Give me the date when you started doing this. I'd love to know.
I started, the first episode went live February 21st, 2018.
Nice.
I believe that was the first day that the podcast went live. So that was the first, I think, half hour that I recorded on Twitch, where I just kind of shotgunned bullet points for stuff and then threw it up on Podbeam with some really bad artwork. But
I quite enjoyed your first podcast, though.
I'm so sorry that's the
it
first
so
instance.
Good.
So many people have had so many better experiences. Well, I mean, you're not alone. There are some other people that were crazy enough to like it. But I wanted to bring you on to talk about you, though. That was the whole reason.
Oh, I didn't.
But I know you've been listening to the show. Yeah.
I turned it around on you real quick. I tried. I really tried. Wait. You broke me down. You stopped me, and then I was trying to get you, man. So I was trying to interview you. Sorry, go ahead.
Sit here and try and bring someone. Yeah, I just wanted to bring someone on just so that I could have them talk about how much they enjoy me. That's exactly what I was hoping.
Almost got away with this, but go ahead. How you doing, man?
No, not quite. I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. I mean, it's 4th of July weekend for us. So yesterday was a lot of people freaking out about gunshots that weren't actually gunshots, but I mean, other than that, I got to sail around with some of the community, and I got to watch Hamilton, and so far. I mean, it's on Disney Plus. Why don't you watch it?
I'm actually gonna watch that right when we're done. I didn't know that. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, that is.
I'm excited about that. Actually,
it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
I've been waiting for a long time to see it. Actually, I had tickets to it, and they everything went when they fell apart. I didn't get to see it, but I had tickets in my hand, so I didn't get to see it. Yeah.
Did it? I mean, is it like postponed for like later on?
No, it was New York. I had a whole trip planned and everything, and it just the whole plan got just thrown. Like, couldn't make it. Get all the work. Couldn't make the flight. Man. All of it. Yeah, I had tickets. They were $125. I got them cheap. Yeah, my buddy at work knows one of the guys up there in New York that works at the place. Yeah.
Oh man. That would be amazing. I still, the Harry Potter and Hamilton are the two shows that I lament not being able to see yet so far.
Right.
I've gotten to see a lot of shows, but those are the two that I want to see. Hamilton, I still want to see, even if it's not with the original cast. Although the original cast is amazing. They're so good.
I'm definitely excited to watch that. Yeah, you said you like Cats, the new Cats, right? That was your favorite that you've seen in a while?
Not the theatrical version, the special edition that they put out later on.
Yeah, right. Sorry about that.
But speaking of showmanship and stuff, so I brought you on to the podcast for a few reasons, but a lot of it has to do with what you bring to the community, because you try to be so much of a positive light to the community. And while we're waiting for some of the new content to be announced for the next episode, I figured now is as good a time as any to kind of spotlight some of the stuff that Sea of Thieves is doing, but also just to kind of figure out like what the heck got you into Sea of Thieves. Cause I know you purely from that. And I know you play other games, and like today you're streaming Rocket League, and I'm just kind of curious, like how long have you been following Sea of Thieves before the game actually came out?
Oh, what a great day. I wish I could have found out about this a long time before I found out about it. It was during the beta. A buddy of mine, my buddy calls me up. I played hockey with him. I played with Death Zealot. You know Death, Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And we played hockey in Atlanta, about an hour. I drove every a couple times a week, and I met him up there, and he told me about this pirate game. It's like the beta. It's free to download. You just have to go to this website. It's like a back door to get it. Actually, I had to go. I can't remember what it was. But I had to go into some insider or something like that there, and I had no idea what I was getting into. I've always been like I'm a photographer on the side. Like I work for military and stuff. Like
we'll get into that.
Yeah. Just anyway, side work is photography. I love shooting like concerts, family, portraits, and everything. Just always loved photography. And this game is so beautiful. When I first saw it, all I wanted to do was take photographs. And once I figured out how to take screenshots in this game, I would get them dumped on my phone and just play with the, edit them a little bit, mess around with them, composition, cropping them and stuff. And I looked up Sea of Thieves, because I like the game a lot. I looked it up on my computer and found like website, started reading into it, made an account, the works. A lot of people already there in the forums. I'm just kind of going through, don't know anybody. And started running into people on Instagram too, Captain Beardstroker, for example. Met him, started selling around with him at the very beginning too. Those first crew guys are all gone now. They just don't play the game anymore. That showed me the game, Thank them. I still thank them for introduced me to this game. But I was just totally 100% pirate after 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You were already, I know you knew about it. I did not. I was thrown beta.
So you're talking about wanting to take photos and stuff. But I mean, you pretty much latched on to the idea of being a pirate pretty quickly. So, I mean, was the concept of pirating something that you always loved before Sea of Thieves? Cause I feel like you kind of want to be a pirate on top of not just cause I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn is a beautiful game and God of War is there's plenty of other games that are really beautiful and have full-fledged photo modes. But what about Sea of Thieves is it that kind of attracts you more than other games?
The community. I've never in my life met a community. I came from another community, very positive community, but when I found out about this community on Twitter, I started following the account, started following developers, just kind of seeing who they follow, kind of getting involved, learning a little bit about the company. And then I started posting my screenshots of our big fleets and stuff we were doing, the Banana Republic, still in beta, running around. After day 2, I thought it was a really good idea to start talking to people. Can we have your boat? That stuff. And taking pics, getting involved. But the community, the love that's built, and this is a family now, man. This is sandbox game where you could just ask 4 random people that live in 4 different parts of the world even to get on a ship in a sandbox game, and you don't have to do anything. You can just sit at a dock and tell stories and joke around. We've done this. Like we've got done some nights, we got absolutely nothing done. Yeah. We laugh about it. We're like, we ain't done. Like, it's funny, but like we get stuff done too. But like this game, we've been through a lot. Like everybody does old Legends know like how long it took to get Pirate Legend. All the old Legends helping the new Legends. That's some cool shit. Like I want to be a part of that forever. Like I'm never going anywhere. Yeah. Community's fantastic.
Yep.
That's what it is.
With the gameplay loop, is that something that you still find enjoyable after so long?
Yes, the absolute best content updates ever. You never know what's going to happen, but like at the same time, the story, you kind of follow. You're like, okay, well maybe they're going to go into the Order of Souls this time. Maybe, and then you get this curveball, and you're like, what? Like, what are these ghost ships? Like, it was fantastic. Every update is, to me, just gets more exciting. I love the little Halloween ones too. But like when they added the fort, like all these little things that they work on, just to make the game, just more content, more interesting, more things to do, more commendations. Man, it's fantastic. There's no other company who's going to be doing that.
Not as frequent, that's for sure.
Not as frequent, and and quality of life things.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely attest to some friends of mine that love their games, but I've been constantly surprised by how Rare is still able to maintain this cadence. Like I did not think that they were going to be able to maintain the cadence of content, and the content, like Chapman told me, is just going to keep getting better and better. And he's not wrong, man. Like I'm still surprised to this day just how much better the content keeps getting, and the different things that they think. Like you ask for something in the game and you think, it's probably down to resources and memory and stuff. There's a reason why there's only so many things in the game. I'd love to have a big sprawling town, but they say that it's not going to work with the memory and the resources in the game, or being able to change ships dynamically in a session so that you can accompany or downsize if you need to, and it comes down to memory and resources. And then I see something like the ghost fleets and Flameheart and the taunting and the music and the atmosphere of that, and I'm just like, man, it's like if they've got their mindset on it and they zero in on what they want, they can really pull out some amazing content. So I'm curious with ghost ships, like have you finished up all of the ghost ships? Are you still working on it?
Oh my god,
what about it?
Tonight was so special. It was so. I just when you've just talked about it right now, I didn't even get a chance to tell. I think Daggers and Chris and them, Scruffy. I got my Flame Hearts tonight. Like this was nice. And what's so cool is I didn't get the other ones. What are they called? The ones with the unicorn?
Berryman?
Yeah, I didn't get that
ghostly.
They're so beautiful. I can't wait to get this. But I did get my Flame, right? So, nice. but today it was such a special sale. It was my crew had Daggers and Chris and Scruffy with stuff. Boom, went out there. We did all this stuff. We did a fort. We did we did the Ashen Fort. It popped. That was fantastic, by the way. And then we helped some new pirates out. Gave them a bunch of treasure. Did the skeleton? I'm sorry, not skeleton fleet. Did the ghost ships, and it was like we barely made it the hell out of that, dude. It was one. Remember remember Cursed Sails? You remember, you're sweating for real, like in the rooms, like your hands totally. Are broken, right? Yeah, that's what was tonight. If you, it was amazing. Like everything was the best, most fun I've had in a long time was tonight, and I got those sales tonight. So yeah, when you bring it up, yes, I got them tonight.
So let's compare the two, because Cursed Sails was a pretty epic moment in the history of the game. Yeah. It was maybe not the most well executed, because it was definitely something that a lot of people had suggestions for improvements to it. This definitely feels like Ghost Fleets definitely feels like what Cursed Sails was envisioned as when they were creating Cursed Sails. And I'm curious, like, compare it, because I mean, you think back on Cursed Sails and you remember some of the hardships that we dealt with and stuff, but those are pretty harrowing times as well too, and you had to really plan it out. How do you feel about the ghost fleets compared to curse sails now? Do you feel like they've really taken this to the next level? Like they've really stepped up their game as far as like emergent world encounters, or are there still things that remind you too much of curse sails that you hope that they iterate on as you go into next future updates?
Actually, believe that this is a totally different deal. Like this ghost, the way it's just put together. Like how, 3 shots for regular ships, and there's like, what is it, 10 shots to each commander ship and all that stuff. Like you go through it, it damages you like massive amounts of holes, all this stuff. It gets chaotic. The ghost, like all this shit, it's a barrage of attacks. Like it's not your normal cannon fire, like, that's coming from in some cursed balls. All these balls are cursed. It's over. Yeah. Like if you get caught in the middle, it's maybe, even if you got a solid hard crew, you better be tight with this crew, like a really solid, well-oiled machine to make it out of a direct, like drive through everything with like show, like, and a skeleton ship popped up on you at the same time, which it did tonight. It makes your life a nightmare. It's one of those that stays far enough out and just blasts you the entire time while you're fighting everything else. So I think it's separate to me. I had a lot of fun with curse sails, but it was a different animal. Like you had to like strategically, like you said, you had to go get 300 cannonballs no matter what. There was no storage crates. It was like, nah, you're carrying cannonballs. At 3 at whatever at a time, 5 at a time, whatever it was. It was less and a lot more work, tapping the button to get each cannonball, everything. So it's just easier now to get stocked up. And they drop all this stuff out of the back. It's just a little bit easier. You can use harpoons to grab stuff. Like it's just dynamically, it's just exploded into this big mass of like content. Like there's no way. Even on a sloop, people are like, oh, it's bored. There's no content. Are you kidding me? Get on a sloop and drop this down on the table real quick and just drive over there. Like you want some content? You better get some damn supplies. Like there's a lot. You may get attacked by a shark, a skeleton ship, and that on the way to that. So I love that, man. I love they're just separate to me. But they're meshed together now, like skeleton ships coming up out the sea in the middle of that nightmare. Everyone goes, really? Really? But you're excited. You made it through it, and it makes it more exciting. No risk, no reward.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually agree with you on that aspect. I feel like the quality of life changes that have come to the game have really helped to improve just the type of adventures you can have. It's so much easier to fight these fleets knowing that they're going to be dropping supplies for you, and the supplies are going to be marked with the ghosts to make it even easier to see, just like, hey, by the way, there's some loot out here that you should really pay attention to because it's going to be make or break for you if you don't. And you don't have to waste so much time like completely looting an entire fort for cannonballs and planks so that you can hopefully survive the first wave and
You've
not
done it
get
too.
there to the...
You went back and forth, bucketing on the way to the damn, to get supplies. Everybody bucketing, to get the one barrel somewhere that you can't harpoon. You can't harpoon it.
Yeah,
like,
you couldn't harpoon. You just someone had to. There had to be there had to be less holes than there were people able to bail while one person jumped off to grab planks or climbed onto a ship to try and grab planks. Like it's bad when you're using bucketing water from your ship onto a ghost ship because that's all you can do to sink them. And that's like
I think
the
you meant skeleton ship.
Or skeleton ship,
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, I did that earlier, and it was like, it's not sinking. They're like, board it. Those are terrible jokes. Yeah.
You had to do that back in the day. So with the skeleton fleets, have you found have you been able to get some good photos of it? Like, have you been able to get some good shots from there? Do you have one that's kind of like your favorite right now, or
yes,
are you still kind of playing around with some of them?
I do. I'm going to say it. Me and Jay Pizzle helped me out the other night. I was on showing me some, the masterful cannoneer that this man does. He gets on there. And he's just, smashing them out like 4,000 yards. It looks like I could throw a football over the mountains, basically, is what he's telling me. And he does it. But anyway, we're out there, and I took a picture of the chaos. Just, He's fighting Flameheart. We're coming in. All the ships are just everywhere in front of us. There's so many ghosts, explosions, fire. I just sat back. I just pushed back and looked and was like, holy shit. I just screenshot, jumped back on a cannon or bucket, and then went back later and was like, damn, that's a lot of cool stuff going on. I did post it. It's I really enjoy taking photos there. It's like everywhere, all over. You could take photos all through that.
Is there an event that you've done that has like a screenshot? Like I'm thinking Shores of Gold.
Devil's Roar. Easy. Devil's Roar. Yep.
Like that's your favorite
that's
as far as like getting shots and stuff.
Yeah. That's what got me my first frame. Actually, I was so excited. I was the happiest person in the world when I saw them choose my photo for being that frame. You have no idea how happy I was. I was like literally to get that picture in that frame.
You're talking about the original, Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Sorry about that. When they first ran the Sea of Thieves shot stuff, and they were doing it like when Emma was on, and she was running. I think they were doing all that stuff, and it was really nice to get that. Like, and it was a good. I mean, I love the picture. It was great. It was like I got my fist up. I was doing that emote where you do the fist. You jump fist. There wasn't many emotes, but that one. So I was doing that, and then behind me, the volcano was just perfectly like composition was like exploding up behind me. It looked like it was like made to like I was, you know what I mean? Like it's just one of those shots, like one of
80s
like
action film.
Yeah. Basically, it was like a poster or something, like Cobra Kai, like Pirate Man 3000, something like that.
It's so good.
But yeah, it's stuff like that.
For people that aren't aware, on Twitter, Sea of Thieves every Friday, I believe, they were doing a screenshot for like Friday frames and stuff. Like anyone that tagged a photo on Twitter when it was SOT shot, the best one that they liked at the time would get framed, and it would be like kind of an honorable mention, like, hey, this is the best Sea of Thieves shot we saw this week. And as far as I know, was there anything actually tied to that? Did you get any gold or anything out of that? Or was it just a pat on the back?
No, it was during the Hungering Deep. That's right. The Hungering Deep contest. They wanted to see your best photos. And then they had another section of the contest about the story. So I won the screenshot part of it because I turned around and they were getting chased by these jerks and forever. So I was, looking through my spyglass, and boom, this shark out of nowhere comes up, megalodon, boom, and just biting him in the back. It's a really cool picture. But that was my entry, and I won a Sea of Thieves controller for it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was one of the first.
Was it the original Sea of Thieves limited edition, or was it the Creator Crew one?
No, it's the Sea of Thieves one.
The original.
The ferryman
stuff.
Still
had those.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. I got two of them. They both don't work well. They drift.
Oh.
Yeah, they drift. Man. I don't know how to fix it. I'm gonna try to get them repaired. They're really nice.
You could probably do it. Oh man, I love mine. I worry the two controllers that I have are the Sea of Thieves one and the Cyberpunk Johnny Silverhand one.
Ooh. I wouldn't even use
both
it.
are nice. That's the problem is I only have the two. So I have one for my PC and one for my Xbox. And I don't have like a wear out kind of just beat it to hell and back controller. So I keep worrying that one of these days, one of these are going to start drifting and I'm like, all right, well, that's going up on the shelf. I'm not going to get to use that thing anymore.
Yeah, dude, so. These are going to be framed up. They're done. One of them's just like I put 50 billion miles on one of these things.
Man, so you started out with Hungering Deep. You moved into the Devil's Roar after Curse Sales, and have you seen the Shrouded Ghost?
I don't. It's a sore subject because it's not even in the game, and that's what everyone. It's funny. I know Photoshop. Like I know it sounds funny, but yeah, I have seen a lot of shops in my time.
Yeah,
and they're all
you can tell a shop by the way the pixels are.
By the pixels are, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's no joke. Yeah. Like they're all photoshopped, and it's cool. Like I mean, they could keep playing the game just like that's not a dragon. Yeah, okay. They could keep playing these games, but we know what those are. And there's no ghosts. Yeah. There's no ghosts, Logan.
So moving into my next question, then I wanted to ask you because your shop, or your, excuse me, not your shops. Your photos are some of the
That hurt so bad.
It was a Freudian slip, and
it's okay.
I didn't mean it.
Of course, I had to.
No. So your photos are some of the ones that are used frequently, and a lot of people really love your Twitter because of the photos that you bring from the game, and you were able to get one of your photos in the game as an actual Easter egg, and it's over in Sanctuary Outpost. And if anyone's ever there, make sure you bring a gunpowder barrel there just to leave in underneath the actual photo. But I wanted to ask, because it's a picture of you on a sloop, sitting on the back canopy, kind of like person sitting on their front porch watching the kids play in the street. You're looking at a kraken with the tentacles up, and I wanted to see if you'd be willing to. You don't have to, but if you wanted to tell the story behind that.
I would love to tell the story behind that. It's actually a pretty good story. I haven't told it a lot. I think I might have said it to you once, but anyway, the story goes like this. That is actually a setup shot. I did barely get out of that, but it wasn't that particular moment. That was a recreation shot that I wanted to be perfect, because if you look at it, all the composition of it, the tentacles, I think the first 3 on the left are facing in, and then the 3 on the right, which makes 6, it's all even. So I just thought this is what I envisioned in my head, because there was a moment where I was just alone and I was having a hard time, everybody has some times in life that aren't so great. Well, I was having one of those back way back. And the Sea of Thieves contest, like the Sea of Thieves shot #contest just got announced. I thought they meant, we're going to put your picture in the game if you win this. I was like, holy crap. Like, this could, only thing in the world would make me go crazy is that. So I didn't know it was a digital frame, which is fine, but like I just, misconstrued. So I waited for the right shot. This is the one I chose, but this is the recreation of it, if that makes sense. It's the perfected picture of it. My original one, which I will tweet or send it to you, you have to see it. It's got a mermaid smoke coming right up the center, and I'm sitting on a dock. I barely made it out. My health bar has got nothing. Like, you kill me with a splash water, basically. If I jump off the dock I'm dead. That kind of shit. But I barely made it back. Sharks, everything, you name it. Because I was in this massive battle between this insane kraken. Back then, when I first started seeing krakens, I'm playing this by myself. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just one of my personal intense, like, I barely made it out. I feel like I had my own, like, adventure in a way. My very first own adventure was special to me. That was it. So I wanted to recreate that moment in this image, and I wanted to perfect it. So I got that particular picture as my banner on my Twitter for a long time. And which is going to go back, but still I used the one I use now, but I'm going to, always, this is going to be my picture, my thing. Well, Aaron, I think, is the one that chose, which photo, and he did a damn good, whoever chose which photo they wanted to give me for Easter egg, they knew. I feel like they knew exactly what to put up. And they put that picture up, and I will never forget finding it, like, on my own without somebody telling me about it. And I knew it was somewhere, but when I found it, like, I just cried. My voice broke a lot that night. But yeah, man, that's the story behind it. And the picture is pretty cool. It's actually my old Captain Ballzonia Instagram that I'm actually going to revamp. Somebody told me there should be a place with all my photos, and I got to thinking about it. It is kind of sucks. I posted a lot of photos on Twitter, but eventually that stuff gets buried, and you can't really see it anymore. You have to, like, sometimes, so I was thinking maybe I should go to my old Captain Ballzonia Instagram, maybe throw all my, like, favorites that I've took for just anybody who would like to look or use anything.
Good idea. I feel like I should be doing that now. I realized all of my favorite photos and stuff are all stuck on Twitter somewhere,
right? Exactly.
Or they're in a folder. And I mean, how long did it take us before we started recording for me to dig out my favorite photo of you? It took a while. So I really should. I really should like figure out if I should just put those all on Instagram.
Not that one. That one's not pretty. There's a lot more prettier, favorites. But that's not. It's not about your favorite. They got to be pretty though. You can't just throw some. Yeah, look, you're representing the company.
What are my favorites?
Think about it. You represent the
company.
Representing myself. You can't be dropping some awful photos.
They don't pay me. Rare doesn't pay me yet. One of these days, they can make me captain of the tavern talk if they want. But until that day, I can put my favorite photos up on there. Besides, all the social media people always have the disclaimer of all my thoughts are my own and do not represent my company. Comment on there. So I mean, even afterwards, I can still put that up on Instagram. It'll still be good. Folks, I'm sorry for the inside joke. It's a very non-flattering image of Captain Ballzonia here.
My pirate,
climbing up a ladder.
I don't take bad
You're
photos.
Pirate. You take no bad photos. Never have I seen anything you've ever sent me.
Totally kidding.
Are you an avid player of the Elder Scrolls Online and looking to take your game to that next level? Well, the Red Diamond Courier podcast is here to help. I'm Bob Chichinski.
And I'm Dogbark24.
We are two experienced players aiming to help others learn and improve through in-game knowledge and references.
From PvE
to PvP
and everything in between.
There's sure to be something for you in the Red Diamond Courier. We hope you check us out. Thanks.
I'm Bob.
And I'm Brad. We're lifelong friends.
And the hosts of the Film and Whiskey podcast. This is the show where each week we review a classic movie and a glass of whiskey.
That's right. Every week we go in depth on a well-known movie while sampling the best from the world of scotch, bourbon, and more.
Because nothing goes better with strong opinion than equally strong liquor.
Bob's a movie nerd.
Brad's an average Joe.
But together, we give fresh insights and hot takes on the world of movies and spirits.
So check out the Film and Whiskey podcast.
Part of the Robots Radio Network.
So you've got your photo up in Sanctuary Outpost. Are you like, is that still, do you have photos now that you think like, I'd be great if there was one right next to it? Like, have you got one of those now?
Yeah. I took a picture of this captain. One guy was looking at the fort cloud a long time ago. It was like, kind of like all at a fort, or like an old fort, like, just not an active fort, looking over at the back of CaptainLogun looking at, that's it. I got a really good picture that deserves to be up there for all your work for the podcast. That deserves to be up there.
I feel like I would agree, but I've heard he's a shill. So I don't know that would really be,
absolutely deserve to have a little radio up
morally
there on the table. The little radio, the little thing, have a little box of CaptainLogun's. Yeah. Podcast. Have your logo up there, dude. Absolutely deserve it.
No,
but that's what I would say.
So you've got Sanctuary Outpost now, and you've got some photos that you enjoy now. And one of the things that I wanted to bring you on to talk about, besides your Easter egg in the game and the fact that you're streaming the game, you've been playing the game forever. You also were kind of hit up to kind of create a new contest for Sea of Thieves shot to kind of revitalize it. Like, and I wanted to kind of bring you on to kind of talk about this.
Yeah, be clear about that part. I want to make sure that everybody knows that this is definitely mine, not mine. Sea of Thieves reached out to me and they told me about this really cool contest where they, like you said, we're going to revamp the Sea of Thieves hashtag. Sea of Thieves shot hashtag. SOT shot hashtag. Yeah, that. Anyway. And they asked me if, since I already had my Easter egg framed in the game, they wanted to go ahead and present me with the sales for the first person to have them, which almost made me pass out. So they wanted me to take photographs. These sales. The sales are beautiful. Like when I was running to that box, they told me they put them in there. When I was running, what to expect. I expected like maybe a camera, something like that, But no, they went all out. Somebody really put some time on that thing. The beautiful sunset, the golden hour sunlight on it. They've used really nice texture on it. You can just zoom in with your spyglass and just be totally like blown away by the texture and the graphics and stuff they put into that.
So for those that don't know what we're talking about, so Sea of Thieves started up a contest that goes for, I think it's a week that the contest runs, and the idea is that they want to get some of the best photos from the game, some of the best screenshots from the game. They can't be edited, and you have to tweet them on Twitter with the hashtag #SOTShot and @Sea of Thieves to be able to enter. Right. You usually have a deadline, and they have different themes for these. And the prizes are these golden hour sales. And these sales are really awesome. They're blue, they're gold. Or is it a blue, or would you call it more like
it's a really nice blue? Yeah, I'd say it is a little closer to cyan. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, it's a light blue.
Yeah, they're great, and it's just a beautiful image. It's got these big golden bars that come down diagonally, and a big sun in the middle, setting across the sea with some birds, and they look great. They really, really do. And it's nice I'm glad that they're doing this contest, and they're actually giving some rewards, because this is definitely going to be some of those sales that if people who follow Sea of Thieves on Twitter are going to know about these, and when they see, they're going to be like, oh, that guy got a really good photo in the game.
They asked me, they reached out, they wanted me to take photos. So I did. Yeah. I had such a great time, like with some friends, just kind of like getting some ships together, taking those photos for them. But like these themes though, all these different themes, like Ghost, when they just like put just the word Ghost, they give this like wide variety of what you can do, you know, Tall Tales, the works. There's Ghost everywhere right now. Like you just get real creative with it. I think I saw a photo today. I retweeted it. Somebody they went all out. I've never seen this person before in my life on Twitter. I followed him today. I was their first follower, and their photo was unreal. They went in there and got the composition of those 4 people. No, it was the 4 people that were dying behind them. Their ghosts were like coming up behind them inside the Fort of the Damned. Composition was sound. I was like, what? Oh, cool. Oh yeah, I retweeted it earlier. It was amazing. But like the creativity, that like to me, it's about the creativity of the shot. Like just ghost ships, anybody can go and take just a quick screenshot. But like you want to get that like ghost face like right on the deck or something, and somebody's like doing a heart emote like in front of it. Like get that timing down. Like those shots are crazy. If you can get those kind of shots and get creative with it, like get on the Tall Tales and get some real nice shots of that stuff and get creative with it, that's what they're looking for, you know? But yeah, those sales are beautiful, and good luck to anyone that's going to enter that. Yeah, I really love seeing everybody's shots.
The one that I think I love more than the one that I even entered, because I'm shooting for these sales because I really want to, and I love taking photos. I think gametography is one of the coolest things. So
you do really good work, by the way. I always like your shots.
Thank you. I try. I don't have professional training in it, so I can't really say that, it's down to that. But.
Well, let's talk about the eye of photography. You have the eye. So there's no training involved with that. Like that's something that you just naturally have. You can see something and you're automatically walk into a room and you just compile what you need to make the perfect composition shot in every situation. Yeah. You know how to do that. So there's no training involved really, right?
So the shot that I was looking at, it's with one of the new emotes, and it's the person hiding up against the wall. This guy has kind of lowly clothes on, and there's a pirate with the cursed flame curse, and the deck is on fire, and there's a ghost floating up, and the composition.
Oh God, where?
This is it.
I want to see that.
Let me see if I can send you a copy of it.
Did you? Yeah, please. I would love to see that picture. That sounds awesome. I miss a lot of stuff too. Yeah, I like to look at all of it eventually, but man, I miss a lot of those really cool shots you're talking about.
So everything in the composition is beautiful because the inside of the cabin is very calm, but it's a warm tone, and the image is definitely a sense of fear and anticipation of the havoc that's going on. And as you look out the door of the galleon, you see the horror that's stuff going on.
No. This is I know. I'm with you.
It's
this is a fantastic shot.
It's a great shot.
I got a lot of, I'd have to retweet that immediately. It's a fantastic shot.
So,
and it is perfect composition. That's what you want, like right there. Yeah.
So
there's a whole story with this photo, right?
Yeah. And that's what I think works.
Like you can just tell a whole story with one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to kind of bring you on because Rare is doing these contests. Competition is going to be thick with people wanting to get these sales, because you were the first one to have these sales in the community, and you got them for a while you were working on getting some of the shots of the sales for Rare, so they could have some shots to use. And I gotta say, it was really awesome of Rare to ask someone from the community to do this, because so often a lot of the stuff that we see from Rare is all stuff that they get from internally. You know, they make their own stuff. So when they came to you and asked you to make these photos, these shots to display, to show off the sales, I thought it was really beautiful, because it was not something that I was expecting Rare to do, to entrust the community with bringing in someone to do their promotional shots. And I mean, a better person would be hard pressed to be able to do the shots that you've done for them because of your background and stuff. So I wanted to kind of bring in some of your expertise for people who see this on Twitter, think I have no training and I may not have the eye for how to build a good photo or good composition. So what are some of the tips that you feel like you might be able to give to some people who aren't the best at taking photos, or maybe don't do it on a good bait or on a frequent enough basis? Maybe they hit capture screenshot once in a while and they're happy because they got the image, but it isn't the best as far as like tone or composition, stuff like that. So looking at the photo that I sent you, that tells a story, and it's a really well planned out photo. Right.
Very well planned out photo.
What are some of the things that you think you might be able to recommend to folks that are looking to win this contest?
Think outside the box, but the very first thing you need to do is figure out how to turn that HUD off. Mm-hmm. You need to go into your settings and go and like change. Like for me, I play on Xbox. Obviously PC, you just key it. It's like, save it, whatever you want to call it. I'm not an Xboxer right now, dude. Yeah. So save the key. I go left on my D-pad, turns it on and off. Like quick, bam, like real quick. If I know that I'm about to take a screenshot, it's so easy. But you need to do that, because when you start posting them, it doesn't mean you won't win because you have it on there. But it really is nice to not have the green bar and all that kind of stuff like on the screen. Mm. You don't want that on there. Second, you got to get creative. Sometimes, like just taking like the sunset, stuff like that. Anybody, walk out, take a sunset. Get creative. Like I saw a few people like setting up shots, like what you just said. There's a lot going on in that photo. Like just look at the skull, for example, for Sea of Thieves. There's a lot going on in that design. Have you ever like looked at it? Like if you look at it, there's a lot going on. Yeah. And then the graphic, like the classic, there's so much going on in that photo. I've seen somebody spend God knows how much time setting up that shot. Like they put the ship there and had the whole, they try to recreate that whole scene. I don't know if you've seen that yet. Yeah, it's on Twitter. But yeah, okay. It was great. Holy crap. Like they're thinking way like deep, like that's a setup shot. The guy who made I know this is video, but the guy who put together the video of the Pirates of the Caribbean thing, that kind of stuff. But you don't have to be that good at it. You don't have to be this massive community member that's like doing all kinds of stuff, interacting with all these like big streamers. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Today, I retweeted something that this person had 0 followers. Me now, that's it. Yeah. They posted a fantastic shot. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So everyone has a chance, first off. But like composition is another big tip. Mm-hmm. So composition is like rule of thirds, stuff like that. Like,
hold on, ahead. Pump the brakes.
Sorry about that.
You're getting a little deep in the weeds for me. So you're talking about composition. Oops. You're talking about rule of thirds. What do you mean by rule of thirds?
Like what your eye sees. Uh-huh. Like if I'm looking just directly, like the shot you sent me, you see how, left side, everything's framed up, the bottom right side. If everything's even, all these shots that won, you could look at it. Everything has certain composition to it, to where the top right had the sun, the bottom left, everything was even. Like on the top left, bottom right. I can't sit there and explain rule of thirds right now, in that manner. But like just composition wise, like just
so when
the way the shot is composed, like where like the ship is perfectly on half of the image, and then the other half another ship, the bow and stuff. Like, and there's people on the top left and bottom right, even with the other people, right?
So the way
that's the kind of composition I'm talking about. That kind of setup in a shot.
The way I've understood the rule of thirds was it's
a totally different thing, probably.
Well, that's where I want to talk to you about this, because what I understood of rule of thirds was the image that you take, if it's a horizontal, if it's a landscape photo, 2/3 of the image should be the story that you're trying to tell with your photo, and most of your content is going to be in 2/3 of the photo, and then 1/3 of the photo, if you're looking at there's a left, a middle, and a right chunk of the photo. One of those thirds,
just squares, basically,
is going to be blank, and that's going to be the kind of relief portion of the actual image, where you're not having to focus on the details in the 2/3 of the photo. Is that kind of what am I understanding that right?
The image is, it's like they don't want you to crop images in this contest. That's another important thing that everybody needs to know. They're not wanting you to crop it, because you can get kind of carried away with cropping and it throws everything off and they'll know you cropped it. So I wouldn't mess around with it too much unless you know the exact dimensions of what your screenshot actually is. Then you can start doing that, or lock in that curve or whatever. But no, it's like the rule of thirds is basically type of composition, like divided evenly into thirds, both horizontal and vertical.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like subject of the image plays like the intersections of those lines.
Right.
If that makes
so,
along like the lines itself.
So
like,
if you had, say, like
you get a division.
If say like you had a tic-tac-toe grid line, and you've got 9 different boxes,
there you go.
4 of those boxes should be the target of your content, and the other 5 should be the extra area kind of framing it.
Right. Sorry, I botched that first part. Like my head, I think of it a little bit differently, but like technically, yes, that's okay. That's exactly what composition rule of thirds is about, is those invisible grids that you can envision in your head. Like, oh, I know this is going to be a good shot. So because I just composed it perfectly.
So you're suggesting that people keybind their HUD so they can quickly turn it on and off. Right. That they look at the composition of the shot and make sure that they're getting a majority of the content within 2/3 of the actual screenshot, and not say like all of it, so that it loses focus, and not too little of it where you're not really seeing like the point of the actual image. What about lighting?
Well, I think lighting's massive. Yeah. Again, this is also something that's super important. I feel I've answered this a few times, actually, even on a private message. I feel like it's necessary to mention that it's the golden hour sales. Yes. But it doesn't necessarily mean every single one of their theme contests, every time they do a new one. Yeah. It doesn't mean there has to be golden hour. A lot of these people are kind of misconstruing, just kind of like miscommunicating a little bit.
Gotcha.
This one's Ghost. The next one could be Order of Souls. Next one could be Gold Hoarder surrounding it. Like, you never know. Yeah. The next one could be Devil's Roar. Who knows? Yeah. Whatever they posted, then you would go to the Devil's Roar. You get some crazy, nutty volcano shots. Wait for all the fire and brimstone to come down, and everybody's doing some crazy emote together. And, get creative with it. Get crazy. Just get risky, Take risks. If you're going out there to get a bunch of treasure, take screenshots. Don't worry about it. Like, if your crew's mad at you, it's fine.
Maybe.
If you sink, it's fine. As long as you know what? Pictures are great when they sink. It's amazing. The stick is straight up. Holy shit. Have you ever seen that? Yeah. Like in the Roar? Oh, yeah. I've seen it a few times. So it's so good.
So with so when people are going to I guess I'm trying to, like, there's a lot of times where situations get kind of sketchy, and if you are in a tight spot, I know that there are a lot of times when you're out and about, you're trying to get in an action shot, and trusting that your crew is good enough to be able to handle taking care of the ship. So if you are looking to enter into this contest, would you recommend kind of prefacing each voyage that you go on with your friends? Be like, hey, you guys, I'm going to try and get some good photos. So if we get into a sticky situation, I might be trying to take a photo at some point.
No,
not
at all.
Don't tell them.
Yeah, you don't want to tell them, because it's the same with candid shots. You just tell the bride right before, like, hey, just ignore me. I'm not here. I'm invisible. Don't even look at me. Because the candid shots are the ones you're like, damn, those are the best ones. It's the same with this. When the natural people, everybody running around, chaos and stuff. Yes, I've made mistakes, probably of accidentally, quote unquote, getting sucked up by the Kraken and possibly falling off the front of the ship trying to get a picture of a shark bite. Maybe. Not going to lie, but happens. I won't let you sink. And at the same time, it happens. So it's similar to some of some of the shots that you see from like the jungle where people are in the midst of a tiger camp or, out in the middle of a war. Yeah. The folks that are out there willing to risk their lives for their crew to get the best shot are the real heroes, is what I'm hearing. Thank you. I've been waiting for somebody to say this for so long. I appreciate you bringing that up. I feel like the hero when I come out with those photos. I mean, we may not have the loot. We forgot a rowboat.
But you have a picture
because I was rushing aside of there. But the photos are what matter. You look at the photo, and this is what all you have left after that quest is that photo, right?
Right.
That's it.
Well, you might have the loot if you turned in the loot.
Who needs loot, right? Who needs loot?
You get
the adventure.
Funny enough,
the fun.
I've tried to spend photos with the Pirate Lord. He doesn't take photos.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't. Yeah.
He hasn't taken any photos. Same thing with the Pirate Emporium. The Pirate Emporium doesn't take photos quite
Well,
yet.
If they did, I'd be one rich bastard. Sorry about that one. I'd have plenty of loot.
So the ghost theme is ending on the 8th of July, which is in 3 days. Well, probably 2 days when you're actually listening to this. So if you want to get a hold, or if you want to actually partake in the next one, say you haven't got a good idea or you haven't got a good photo for the ghost theme, keep an eye out over at Sea of Thieves on Twitter, and they will be posting their next event or contest, contest theme shortly after they pick a winner for the next one. So if by Wednesday the poll closes, they'll usually be able to pick their winner by Friday. Hopefully by Friday or Saturday of this week, we'll know what the next theme is going into the next contest. And I hope this brings out more people to actually dive in there and try and get these sales. If anything, just to make there be more people out there with these sales, and just kind of make sure that if you see them, that the reason why they have those sales is because of the photos that you took for Rare, and that they wanted to get this contest, and they did something that might have been a little outside of their norm to try and win a cosmetic that would mean something to them. That's kind of what I'm hoping with this. As we're kind of wrapping up,
I will say this, Logan. Sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say, I will say this. I know the next few things, it's going to be good. Like, I'm looking so forward to the next few. Like, that's all I'm going to say. It's so good.
Oh.
They've come up with some really good ones. I'm just going to say.
That's not fair.
So can't wait. Yeah. And it's really important to say this too. This is really important. Instagram. Okay. You don't have to just vote here on Twitter. You can vote on Instagram too and use the hashtag, and it does count. There were several winners also from the last contest. They got 4 sales is what I've heard.
Yeah, so I didn't know that.
That's another place that you can enter into this contest. And doesn't matter how many times you do it. You can use it 1,000,000 times if you'd like.
That is one thing I will say is one of the things that I reached out to Cameron Thomas when the first event went live with the golden hour sales. I asked him if there was any kind of limitation to how many entries I could put in. He said no, and I went and I checked the hashtag yesterday. to see some of the ghost shots coming into this weekend, just to kind of see, what are my chances of actually winning. They're not good, but a lot of people were putting a lot of different shots out there, and some of them are absolutely amazing. So you can enter as many times as you want. So if you have multiple ideas for one theme, toss them out there, because the more shots you put up with the hashtag and at Sea of Thieves, the likelihood of them seeing it, and comparing it to some of the other ones out there. I will say, take your time with some of these shots too. Like, especially if you're in a situation where you're setting up a shot with other people, wait for the right lighting, right timing as well. There's a lot of times where you're trying to rush to get something in before a certain time hits and the sunlight changes or the shading changes, and you can't quite get it and it's not quite perfect, and you just say, that's good enough. Wait for that perfect shot, and take a lot of screenshots too, as many screenshots during that time as you can, because I think that's one thing that you definitely agree with me is you'll take 100 shots and maybe 3 of those will turn out perfect. And those are
right. And it's not a quick fire thing. If you see a Megalodon doing some stuff, start working on your timing. If you're on Xbox, I don't know how fast it is on a PC. It's probably a hell of a lot faster, probably instant.
Depends.
But like, I've had to learn like how to hit the home button and the Y button in this delay, like, maybe a second and a half even off to capture some of them. So once you learn that delay, it's a big too. If you're trying to get a good capture in an action shot, start working on like your delay, like check and see your recent captures right after you take it. Just go out and play around with it.
That's good advice too. Know the timing of how long it takes your Xbox to capture that photo.
Right.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Are there any other tips you can think of that come to mind when you're trying to look at a shot and size it up and see if it's worth taking, or do you just take shots? Honestly, just have fun with it too. Like, I see a little bit of stress about it. Like some people I hear like, I'm just worried about it. I don't think they're going to stop doing this. So I think it's fantastic. Tip wise though, just get creative with like where you're at. Like, have you go into the like certain areas of the map with the fog, like going after the fog and then getting some of these creepy shots of these skeletons and ghosts? Man, you can get some seriously creepy shots in that fog. Like, I've seen a lot of stuff, but I actually haven't seen a lot of stuff in the fog. Yeah. Like for this particular one, like in my brain, I think, man, do you remember how scary, those old like Night of the Living Dead movie, like even the black and white, the fog and the creep, like that's scary. So you could do one of those tall tales and kind of like time it to where the fog is like on the island you need to be on. Yeah. And then you go like what is the one where you do the lantern and you see all the ghosts? That's an idea right there. Fate of the Morning Star, if I remember correctly.
Right. But like, exactly. So if you're out there messing around with that, have a crew, have somebody, that cool lantern that gives that cool effect, that green, spooky, and during the fog, and get some skeletons in the shot, fight. I mean, man, there's like endless possibilities for this particular theme. I love seeing all these people's shots, but that's just an idea, coming from me. Think outside the box like that,
How hard is
solving mysteries on the Crook's Hollow?
How do you feel about like having other people with you to try and frame shots and stuff?
I love it. I love getting friends involved. We have so much fun doing it, man. Like, that's one of the best parts about it. Like, I don't even do this alone. Yeah. I don't want to do it. Like, I don't think I've ever really went out and took photos alone. Like, even the shots for rails, like, the first thing I did was contact 3 of my friends and go, can y'all help me? Wait till y'all see these damn things. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, let's go. I have fun with my friends, no matter what we do. I want to take the pictures of them. I want to take pictures of them. And this is history, by the way. This isn't just, to me, these captures are like in real life. Because this is like my friends, my family, people that I love now. I've spent a lot of time with the last few years now, 2 years at least. I mean, geez, I've known you, for a long time now. Like, we've sailed a lot. I consider you as a good friend now. Like, so, like, all that stuff, like, means a lot in these photos, right? Yeah. I went back and saw the very first photos of me and Scruffy. Man, that meant a lot to me. Making me a little emotional, man. Yeah. It's a video game. How is that even possible? It's because these captures actually capture not just the game, but like moments. actual real moments, man, with people. That's what I love. That's what my heart is. It gives me chill bumps thinking about it.
So
I know that's deep and sappy, but that's how I feel.
He's so sappy. So the biggest takeaway I'm getting from this is to experiment, to have fun, to remove your HUD, to look at the composition, make sure you have good timing, but most importantly, get with your community or get with a community and get some friends out there and have some fun. And don't worry about the treasure.
There's a lot of Discords out there, tons of them on the Sea of Thieves, like just asking for a crew. Like even the Facebook group's got 20, 30,000 people in there. You could drop a post and go, hey, is anybody selling? I don't really have a crew. Dude, you're going to get slammed with people going, I'll sell right now. What's up? My gamer's this. Boom, you're in. You're done. Yeah. You could meet some cool people just doing that. Even search for groups on Xbox.
Yeah.
Lots of ways to meet people.
Awesome. Well, Balls, I really appreciate you coming on to chat with me. I know that we were kind of tossing it together kind of willy-nilly. We didn't really have like a set time or anything. So I really appreciate you being flexible with hopping on and chatting with me, because it's been in the back of my mind. And for some reason, I don't know, my brain just said that now was a great time to pull you in and have you kind of tell your story, because it's really interesting to kind of find out like how some of these shots came together, why you do it, you know, what your experience has been with it, what you take away from the game and stuff. So if you had to say that there was something that you wanted to come to the game for the future, is it like a legitimate photo mode? Like are private servers something you're looking forward to as far as like getting to create custom shots, or are you much happier trying to live in the moment?
I'll be honest with you. You would think that I would want Rare to give everyone the option for free camera mode, but I don't. And it's not because it makes it easier. It's because it's just, to me, it's worth the effort to learn how to get those shots that way. Like anybody can go to Red Dead or Borderlands 3 and just, Jesus, you could take 150 billion photos and everything looks completely perfect. It's really hard to get some of these shots in Sea of Thieves, and I like that challenge, you know? So, you know, I would be fine, but dragons, that's the one thing I want them to add to the game. I'm just going to say that.
It's not going to happen, Balls.
I'm going to leave it with that.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen, yeah.
They're not going to.
It's heating up. It's heating up. You're getting Ashen, everything. Swords, buckets, freaking shoes, underwear. Ashen, dragon underwear is coming probably. Who knows? And you're talking about no dragon.
Yeah.
We've had this debate for a year.
We're not getting dragons. We've had the sea. We've had water. We have a megalodon.
Remember the dude
There's no
at
water
the
dragons.
outpost going, there's this wing creature burned us all up. What? I mean, that's a dragon.
He's crazy.
Wing creature burned us up.
Have you talked to the dude on that sea post? He's like, can you get this dude off my sea post? He's crazy.
That dude's been drinking, but he makes sense. I believe his story, man. Like, I believe the guy's story. I know you don't. You think he's drunk, or wild haired, or whatever. He's a good character. I believe he knows what he's talking about.
I believe his story about as much as you believe in the shrouded ghost. Balls. That's how
many krakens have you seen with teeth like that? Beaks and whatnot. And stuff, like dragon beak kind of.
Briggsy's.
Ashen dragon. Has anybody ever seen the Ashen Dragon figurehead, though? Like, that looks so much like that skull. So weird.
No.
Take a quick look at that one day. And
it looks exactly like the thing that Briggsy killed.
Did they make a deal with me? How about this? Right now, if they add dragons, and I was right, you got to be there the first slay. How about that? With me.
That doesn't...
Stream the hell out of it.
How does that...
Slew. Even if we know we're going to lose.
How does that, I don't win that. There's no win for me in that scenario. You win both of those scenarios. That's not a...
I know. I worked it that way. I'm clever like that. They don't call me Ballzonia for nothing.
That's true. They don't. Well, Balls, I really appreciate you coming onto the podcast, and
I appreciate you asking me to do it, man. I've always been a big, massive supporter and fan of everything you've done with the podcast. I really appreciate all the work you've done.
True.
I'm going to turn it around, and thank you for that. So, yes, I've been wanting to say that And, I really do appreciate you having me on. It means a lot to me. This whole community and everything. So thank you.
I'm glad that you're in the community. It means a lot to me to have you around to be silly and to get people and myself into situations that I wasn't expecting to get into. But I'm glad that you know how to bail really well. You're one of the best bailers.
Yeah, man.
You're one of the best photographers.
You got to kill that animation, man. You got to, BB.
If you don't know what we're talking about, if you hit the B button or if you hit the X button on mouse and keyboard, you cancel animation, you can dig faster, you can bail faster. And is there anything else you can do faster? I don't think there's any. Maybe eat bananas.
Thank you, Jay Pizzle, again for teaching me the ways of the underground. The pirates and the black market pirate or whatever. Shout out to my lovely crew, Daggers, and Chris and Scruffy and Latch Glue and Jacob Death Woodrow Jenkins and the Booty Bucks crews, Catastrophic, and all my friends on that side of the fence. I really, really appreciate everybody for sailing with me for a year and a half, or at least those people.
Great people. And if they want to,
they've been
say people want to find your photos and catch you, where can they find you streaming and on social media?
Right now, just like everybody, moved over to Twitch. So I have a Twitch is basically my name. It's CAPT_, I think. Yeah, it's got an underscore. And then BALLZONIA. Mm-hmm. That's my Twitch. I guess you could just find it by searching that. Or it's on my Twitter, on my my information or whatever you want to call it. And Instagram, actually, there is a Captain Ballzonia, and I probably am going to be a little bit more active there. So
nice.
I'm going to start dumping some photos there so I can actually have some sort of a catalog,
I think I need to do
some
that
memory
too.
Type catalog. Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea.
That is a good idea.
I think we should both do it, man.
I probably will, honestly.
Yeah. And it keeps everything together, right? Yeah. We should have been doing this for a long time.
Right? It feels like there's a community over there and that we just haven't been paying attention to it.
Yeah. Tobacco Skunk, he's over there.
Yeah.
And shout out to them too. My Evil Monkey, all of them, the bunch. Jesus Christ. Yeah, can't forget. Some of my first people there. But yeah, dude, Skunk, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good people out there for sure. And I'm going to have links to all your socials as well in the show notes. So if folks are listening to this and they don't want to have to write it down, like I tend to do when I'm listening to podcasts, just remember to go to the show notes for this episode and I will have them all for you. There's some great photos out there. Make sure you guys are getting photos yourselves and make sure you're hashtagging and adding the appropriate accounts and hashtags so that you can get entered into this contest to win the golden hour sales, because as of right now there are only 5 community members that I know of, or maybe potentially 9 depending on how Instagram works. I'm not sure if I'll have to look into that, but potentially 9 people out in the world have these sales, so they're pretty rare right now, and you could be one of the next people that get them. In fact, by the time you listen to this episode or the next episode, there should be another set of people out there with them. So good luck, good sailing, and I will see you all later on. All right, pirates, that's going to do it for this episode of Keelhauled. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Ballzonia. He's a great guy, and I really appreciate him coming on to talk a little bit about photography in gaming, or gametography, depending on how you want to say it. And I really hope that you guys were able to get some good takeaways from some of the tips that he was able to provide. I know that there's definitely a lot of us out there that enjoy taking photos, and I hope that you are doing so as well in a game that is this beautiful. So with that, make sure you head over to the show notes for this episode to follow him. Make sure you're keeping an eye on what he's up to, because he's got some great photos out there. And to make sure to head over to the Discord. There's a link in the show notes if you want to join up with other people and get some sailing in. I was able to get some sailing in this last weekend with some of the crewmates from the Discord. Had a really good time, so thanks guys for that. And yeah, make sure if you guys want to get a hold of me, you can always do so at CAPT_LOGUN over at Twitter, or you can email me at CAPTLOGUN@gmail.com. I did get some messages in this week as well as a review. Unfortunately, the episode is running a little bit long, so I want to make sure I try and tackle that next week's episode. Hopefully I'll be able to get a guest on that you guys will have some fun listening to. And I think that is it. Well, I appreciate you guys all. I hope you're having a good time. Good luck with those contests, and I'll see you out on the Sea of Thieves.
listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.